Good day, champions. Excuse the helmet here. I'm just out here in the wilderness today. Thought it might be a good idea to do a demonstration on how to use the trusty trail stand. I know a lot of you guys run center stands on your T7s and other big adventure bikes, and I get it. I understand why you'd want something like that. It's so easy to get the bike straight up and down, get a wheel off the ground if you need to change a tube or oil your chain or whatever you want to do. But on the other hand, they are heavy, they're expensive, they flop around underneath the bike unless you tie them up. And the trusty trail stand is a viable alternative. You don't have to be Hercules to use it. I'll show you. Easy. Just grab it out of my trusty Nelson Rig Trails and Enduro tail bag. Of course, it's right down the bottom, so you'll have to bear with me. So if you've been riding for long, you've probably got a set of crutches laying around at home somewhere. All you got to do is cut one down and you got yourself a trail stand. Extendable and everything. So, you know, they don't need to be super long. Alright, so I'll do the back wheel first. It's easy. The front's probably the hardest one, but it's not that bad. Now, obviously you're not always going to have a nice hard surface like this. Well, this is hard enough. If you're in the sand or the mud, you're probably going to want to try and get your bike onto something semi-decent. You don't want to be trying to do this in soft sand, obviously. So with the back wheel, obviously we just want to put this underneath the bottom of the swing arm there. That still lets you get to your wheel nut and everything, and you can easily remove the wheel if you have to. So you want to set the length of this accordingly. I'll probably try the next size down. Just all depends how far it's going to sink into the ground, but you definitely want to make sure your kickstand is on some nice firm ground. If you haven't got firm ground, you can put something under it, like get a stick or a flat rock if you can find one. Just something to stop it sinking into the ground. If worst comes to worst, take your boot off and put your boot under that somehow or whatever. It's all better than using a center stand, trust me. Alright, so the back of the bike is obviously not that heavy. The engine is the heavy part up the front. Just want to find a good place to grab. Yeah, you want to be aware that your exhaust is probably going to be hot. So in this case, I'm just going to sort of just leaning my shoulder into the side of the bike here, lifting the wheel. Just gently place that underneath. It's going to sink into the ground a little bit, but I'll throw it in neutral. There you go. It's as easy as that for the back wheel. So that's I can take that off or I can adjust my chain or whatever. And it's pretty solid. The only thing that might happen is it'll sink into the ground a little bit, but as I said, there's ways to get around that. Get it off. Same deal. I just tend to lift this back wheel at the spokes there. Now the front's where it gets a little bit more tricky, but it's not impossible. Depending on your bike and your bash plate and where you want to position the trail stands, it can be good to have a rubber end on both sides, just to sort of stop it slipping. So the best way that I've found to do it, and it's going to depend obviously on your crash bars, where you can grab the bike, but you want to be grabbing somewhere solid on the frame. What I tend to do is grab just under the bottom of the crash bars here. I'm going to have this ready with the left hand. Now you don't want to just be lifting with your arm and your back, so I brace against the bike and push the top of it over towards the kickstand with my shoulder, so I'm basically not lifting it too much. And I've actually forgotten to set the height, so that's a bit too high. So this bike with all the crash bars and protection and stuff on it and fuel, I'd be guessing it's around 215 kilos right now, so a heavier bike is going to be harder obviously, but it is doable. There's not a lot of effort involved here at all. Pushing, lifting a little bit, and again angle it backwards, and it's probably a good idea to put the bike in gear. I haven't done that now, but the kickstand will generally stop it from going backwards. As you know, the kickstand will fold up if it rolls forward, but having it on a bit of an angle like that, it's pushing it back. Front wheel's off the ground. very little effort involved. Again, it's pretty solid, you know, not as solid as a proper center stand of course, but you know, that thing weighs probably, I don't know, 100 grams, 200 grams, it's not much. And once you've got your wheel back on, or whatever you're doing, brace, I don't know if you guys can see properly there, but I'll put this camera back a bit further. So basically, foot underneath, hand underneath the front here somewhere, shoulder pushing the bike towards the kickstand. Get ready to grab that. Honestly, it takes very little effort you're not doing a lot of lifting there. So there you go guys, ditch that heavy center stand, grab yourself a cut down crutch, never look back. Thanks for watching, hope this video's helped somebody out there. We'll see you on the next one, cheers.